But when it comes down to a youthful operator, let's first define a youthful operator.
Pick
Go
me
ahead.
at my age. I want to be a youthful operator.
Yeah, that ain't happening, pal.
Nope.
No. Youthful operator is defined as basically somebody who's the ages of 16 to, you can go as high as 21, 25, but I really concentrate in the first 3 years. To me, that's really a youthful operator, 16 to 19. And the first 3 years of having your license is kind of what I was referring to. But so it can be a traumatic experience for moms and dads out there. So I'm going to give you some quick one-hit tips and tricks, all right? Because last week I was going like head first deep into the muck. This week I'm doing bullet points. How's that?
That works for me because I was cruising Facebook News this morning. And a lot of my friends out there putting up pictures of their kids with their first cars. So let's hear it.
Yeah, so some tips and tricks, things to consider, all right? So first and foremost, if your child is a good student, make sure your insurance company knows that. Because if they are a good student and you are listing them on your policy, you are going to get a good student discount. Now, a lot of the companies out there have driver training discounts. You don't get your license in Vermont without driver's ed anyway. So, but make sure you're getting that credit, right? So you want to make sure you're getting the driver training and the good student if you're eligible. That could be pretty significant. Let's talk about vehicle to driver ratio. All right. So you have two cars, mom's car, dad's car. And then you've got the youngster getting their license today. You still have two cars, but now you have three drivers. That youngster is going to be assigned as an occasional operator with many companies to one of those vehicles. Let's say you're very proud of youngster and decide to buy youngster a car. Don't get one with a loan necessarily, because full coverage on a youthful operator, it can be very expensive for that vehicle. So it can be thousands upon thousands. I've seen $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a year for one vehicle to have what we call full coverage, which would be comp and collision. Not necessarily wise. So get a late model vehicle. And sure, put comprehensive on it, put collision on it if you want. It's going to be a little cheaper. But if you're getting full coverage because you have a loan, that means you have a higher value vehicle. It could be very expensive. So things to think about there. Make sure you're factoring in how far they're going one way to school. Very simple. Well, we're doing the same thing for you. Don't make the mistake necessarily, and I see this one a lot, Jeff, is don't get a separate policy for them. We see a lot of people who get a separate policy, but here's the kicker. They're getting a separate policy in mom and dad's name or mom or dad's name, and then listing the child. Well, by that, you're kind of skirting things, and it's not necessarily illegal, not necessarily it's not gonna land you in a heap full of trouble, but it could become a problem at claims time. And here's what I'm talking about. If you get an auto policy that's in mom or dad's or mom and dad's or whatever the case may be in their name, and then add your youthful operator, that youthful is being considered an occasional operator on a policy that you just secured solely for the vehicle they're driving all the time. And now you have your policy with your vehicles that doesn't know about their policy and their vehicle. Now you're muddying up the waters and could make it a he said, she said claim scenario. Could be pretty ugly. Plus, many companies, if they find out you have an additional auto policy in your name, they will non-renew you. They'll say, hey, look, we're still kind of on the hook for this vehicle that you didn't tell us about over here. So we just can't continue this relationship. It's not in our best interest. So don't make that mistake. Yes, it can be cheaper. Yes, it can be attractive, but there are better ways to do it properly that can level the playing field for you. So check that out as well.
Well, and that's when you have the conversation with your insurance provider. I want to go back to the training thing, and maybe this will be a lighthearted joke, and I know you're not prepared for this, but I also have a lot of friends out there that have 14, 15, 16-year-old drivers, okay?
Yeah.
But they're driving only left, and they're driving at about 85 to 90 miles an hour in a circle. You know where I'm going with this?
Oh, yeah. They're racing.
Yeah, would that be considered driver training? I'm just curious.
Not even close.
Okay.
Not even close. It's fun. And but no, not driver training. So it's just really some tips and tricks. You want to have that open dialogue. And I always recommend to people, look, if you're thinking about getting your child a vehicle, look at all the options. If you're looking to get them their own vehicle, look at the option of putting them on their own policy. It'll be expensive, don't get me wrong, but it could be better if they have their own policy in their own name. You may not be so sticker shock, but usually the best option is to go on mom and dad's policy because you're getting the multi-vehicle discounts, you're getting all mom, dad's discounts, and that's the best option. But play around. There's no harm, no foul in finding out that the grass may be greener on the side that you're on. It's a free look, so check it out.
Well, no, it is, and that conversation's so important. And, there are going to be moms and dads out there or at least care providers that have a driver's license that may have some issues and it makes their insurance higher. So there are so many variables.
There are, and you can never go to a hang out with your friends or be at a function and listen to them about their insurance and, well, that's not what I'm paying for mine. Well, if somebody says that to me, I want to see their declarations page. Because I want to see, A, if that is indeed what they're paying or if they're paying less than I am, and B, if they're actually rated properly. Because I find a lot of times when you compare like that, there's some variable that's not right. You know, there are times where it is, and you go, well, I'm going to switch to that company. But you may even find switching to that company could be more expensive for you because there's so many things that are at play here with auto insurance.
Well, insurance policies are geared to an individual, and every individual has their own criteria, their driving record, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we keep mentioning the conversation's important. How can they have it with you?
Very simple. Give us a call, 748-5224. We are knee-deep in quoting all the youthful operators right now, which is awesome. You can find us on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency.
I'm not going to go far with this, okay? But moms and dads out there, don't get your kids a $300 beater to go back and forth to school with.
No, you want a safe vehicle.
Exactly.
You want a safe vehicle. So my first vehicle was a $1,500 vehicle. It had 3 different shades of color. I loved that car. I'd drive that car today proudly if I could. It was let's see, the first week after I had it, the whole exhaust system all dropped in front of the Academy, and then 3 weeks later the clutch went. You know, so don't go that low.
Right.
But, definitely look around, and it doesn't cost a thing to check.
That's right. Give them a call. Barrett Insurance Agency. Stop and see them at their new location on Portland Street, just the other side of the bridge. Calvin Harris and Tom Grennan up next.